Hi everyone, my name is Mateus, and today we're going to talk about video games. Indie developer Archangel Studios' newly released Souls-like game, Bleak Faith Forsaken, has found itself under scrutiny as players have accused the game of reusing animations from FromSoftware's games, particularly Elden Ring. Since its release on March 10, players have pointed out the striking similarities between Bleak Faith's animations and those found in FromSoftware's games. For example, comparisons have been made between Bleak Faith's claymore attacks and those of Elden Ring's Uchigatana and straight sword. Additionally, a compilation of other animation similarities has been shared, including a character who appears to have some of Milenia's moves from Dark Souls 3. While many games take inspiration from other sources, these similarities appear to be in a different category. Rather than resembling FromSoftware games, they appear to have been extracted directly from them using the DSanim Studio program commonly used by modders, and then slightly tweaked. In response to the accusations, Archangel Studios addressed the issue on both Discord and the game's Steam forum. The developer explained that some of Bleak Faith's animations were assets purchased from the Epic Marketplace and linked to the profile of an Unreal Engine asset seller named Persian Ninja. One of the assets sold there, labeled PN Axe Animations, closely resembles the moveset of Bloodborne's Hunter Axe. The developers also noted that about 10% of the total game art was from the marketplace and that it had been edited to fit the game's general needs. However, this explanation did not satisfy players' complaints, and one developer submitted a ticket to Epic Customer Service, preemptively addressing concerns about the accusations. Meanwhile, a separate issue was raised on Twitter, where it was pointed out that Bleak Faith's perk illustrations were AI-generated art with a noticeably bland look. The developers responded that they would replace the art, acknowledging that it was an oversight and stating that new perk icons would be available soon. As of now, it remains to be seen what Epic Games will say about the accusations of animation reuse. The controversy surrounding Bleak Faith Forsaken serves as a reminder that even indie games can find themselves under the microscope of the gaming community. Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser has defended the company's decision to price The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom at $70, stating that the game will offer a deeply immersive experience that will justify the higher price point. The game, set for release on May 12, marks the first time that Nintendo has charged more than $59.99 for a standard edition of a digital Switch title. Bowser said in a recent interview with Associated Press that the pricing decision was made after considering what the game has to offer, adding that the higher price reflects the type of experience that fans can expect. However, he emphasized that the pricing model may vary depending on the game itself and that $70 won't necessarily be the new norm for all first-party Switch titles. While Nintendo has been charging $60 for standard editions of its games, Sony began charging $70 for first-party games when the PS5 launched in 2020, and Microsoft started charging the same amount for first-party Xbox Series X/S games this year. The pricing decision has been met with some criticism from fans, with many pointing out that the $10 price hike represents a 16.6% increase over the standard price of $60. However, others have noted that the high-quality gaming experience offered by the Legend of Zelda series justifies the higher price point. The Pokémon Company International is seeking a corporate development principal with a deep understanding of Web3, including blockchain technologies and NFTs. The job listing, which was spotted on TPSI's Greenhouse page and shared on Twitter, requires the successful candidate to be deeply connected to others in the Web3 and metaverse spaces. Although this doesn't necessarily mean that TPCI is planning to move into the blockchain industry, it does suggest that the company is potentially interested in exploring the space. The Pokémon franchise extends far beyond video games, encompassing a vast array of merchandise and media. The company's interest in blockchain technology and NFTs may be related to the potential of the metaverse, which could offer a new avenue for Pokémon to expand its reach. However, the franchise has been cautious about NFTs in the past. Last year, TPCI took an Australian company to court over an NFT game that was promoting an upcoming NFT game called Pokeworld. Other major gaming companies have expressed interest in NFTs and blockchain technology. Square Enix's current president has stated that the company will be producing blockchain games in the near future, and Konami, EA, and Sega have also commented on or expressed interest in NFTs. Minecraft developer Mojang, on the other hand, has said no to NFTs. As more and more gaming companies explore the potential of blockchain technology and the metaverse, it remains to be seen whether the Pokémon Company International will follow suit. Fans of the Hitman franchise will have to wait a little longer for the next major game in the series, according to IO Interactive. The game development studio has stated that its focus has shifted to other projects, including the upcoming James Bond game, Project 007, and a new online fantasy RPG. In January, IO Interactive released a rebranded version of 2021's Hitman 3, titled Hitman World of Assassination. The updated version incorporated content from the previous two Hitman games and added a new game mode called Freelancer, which offered a single-player experience featuring roguelike elements and a customizable safe house. Despite ongoing experimentation with the formula and content for the Hitman franchise, a new major game in the series is not a priority for IO Interactive at the moment. In an interview with Eurogamer, Christian Elverdam, IO co-owner and chief creative officer, stated that a major new Hitman game, that's a little bit on hiatus as the studio is focusing on its other projects. Elverdam added that IO Interactive would eventually return to developing a new Hitman game, saying, "But obviously we'll come back to beloved Agent 47. He's still very much in the heart of this company." IO Interactive announced its James Bond game, Project 007, in November 2020, featuring an original origin story for the iconic spy. The studio is also developing an online fantasy RPG, which it says will be built to entertain players and expand over many years. IO Interactive's approach to the Hitman franchise appears to be centered around experimentation and evolving the series before returning to develop a new major game in the future. Activision has confirmed that Call of Duty Mobile will continue to be supported for the long term despite reports that it will be phased out in favor of the upcoming Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. In a statement to the game's account, the company emphasized that the mobile title is an important part of the entire Call of Duty franchise and our overall mobile strategy. Activision expects to continue providing fresh new CODM content, activities, and updates for the long haul. The statement comes in response to Microsoft's statement to the UK government over its planned purchase of Activision Blizzard, which included a mention that Call of Duty Mobile is expected to be phased out over time when Warzone Mobile releases. Activision clarified that both titles will be running simultaneously, similar to how Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 did not replace the original Warzone. The upcoming Warzone Mobile will offer a battle royale experience with 120 players, vehicles, and mechanics like the Gulag, available on iOS and Android devices. Activision has several mobile games planned based on its franchises, and these would all become Microsoft properties if its deal to acquire Activision Blizzard goes through. A new racing or flying game from Electronic Arts may be in the works, according to a listing on the Xbox Store. The game, codenamed Lorem Ipsum 70, was submitted under the Racing and Flying category, as reported by leaker Aggiornamenti Lumia. Although the developer of the game remains unknown, it is speculated that a racing game from an EA-owned studio like Codemasters could be behind the title. However, the mystery game is not believed to be F1 a new racing game from Codemasters that has a separate store listing. F1 2021 and F1 2022 were both released in July, and a teaser website for the next series entry says that news on the game will be coming soon. In recent news, EA Sports partnered with Formula One world champion Max Verstappen, who will collaborate with the game publisher to create content across its portfolio. EA Sports branding also appeared on Verstappen's race helmet during the F1 2023 season, which began this month. Aggiornamenti Lumia is known for regularly reporting on listings added to the Xbox and Windows stores before they are made public. The presence of the game on the Xbox Store suggests that an official announcement could be coming soon from EA. However, further details about the game, including its release date and platform availability, remain unknown. Nixxes Software, the studio responsible for porting over Marvel's Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales to PC, could be working on the next PlayStation PC port, and it could be Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. The hint comes from a new job listing for a UX/UI engineer at Nixxes, which is looking for someone with experience in using coherent middleware, a technology that is essential to Insomniac's latest Ratchet and Clank game. Coherent Labs, which creates the only professional game UI middleware in the world, features Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on its official website, along with other games such as Control Ultimate Edition, PUBG, Minecraft, and more. While this is just a rumor, the pieces seem to make sense together. If the rumor is true, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart will be the latest PlayStation exclusive to make the leap to PC, following the likes of Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Days Gone. However, fans will have to wait for an official announcement from Sony or Nixxes to confirm the news. That's all the news for today, Tuesday, March 14, 2023. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. The links to all the subjects discussed in this video are available in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.